Hi guys, my name is Jasmine and I am your small town gray witch here to talk to you about how to begin to work with spirits. Alright, so it seems like this is kind of the new broom question that everybody has. How do I get in touch with spirits? How do I work with them? How does it all work? How do I know if it's me or if it's them? So, we're going to talk about that today. Now, we got to start with bottom bare roots because I am making this video for people who are just stepping in. So the first thing I want to do is ask you to go watch 2 other videos of mine. I know that sounds weird. This is the 3rd video in that kind of process. I might even make a New Broom 101 kind of. I think I might do that. Make like a list so you can kind of 1, 2, 3. All right, playlist. So just go watch these 2 videos for me. It saves me a lot of time, saves you a lot of time. The first video I want you to watch is protection magic. It does get a little gunky towards the end, so if you want to pause, I always give a warning. I do all the pretty stuff first, then I'll give a warning and you can stop if you are not into getting a little dirty with your magic quite yet. But I'm gonna keep it in there because honestly, it is the best part when it comes to someone trying to be honest, is to give you all of the information, including the down and dirty. So, first, when we're working with spirits, we want to be safe. Safety is key. Now, I've always heard the saying of, if you can draw a spirit in, you need to be able to banish a spirit. I don't 100% agree with that, depending on the spirit, but it's better to know how to do that than to not. So, not every spirit's going to do you harm. You don't always have to have a banish in your back pocket, but better need it, or better have it and not need it than need it and not have it, I guess is the concept. I can figure it out eventually, so I'm not worried about it. That's me being reckless. That is my risk awareness and my choice. Okay? So, second video I want you to go watch on my page, if you're into this, is psychic gifts. It's going to go over the 8 different psychic gifts that people have. We all have a psychic gift. It's just going to go over 8 of them. So, it's not so much that you will have all of them or even 2 of them. You might only have 1. Most people have a couple. But I find it's good to know what they are, so that way when they happen, you can identify it a little bit more and not shrug it off as, because for instance, if you get a sweet smell, write it down. It might actually be a psychic gift trying to help you with something, and you're gonna be like, oh, what's that smell? Oh, it must be the house next door must be baking apple pie. Really? Your neighbor's baking apple pie? Do you see any apple pies on the windowsill? I don't. So just don't shrug it off. That's why I want you to have that knowledge to help you find your gifts. That video will not be able to tell you exactly what gift you have, but it does tell you the different types of gifts so you can kind of figure out which one you may have, if that helps. There's also a few exercises to rule some of them out if you can. Okay? So those 2 gifts, or those 2 videos, psychic gifts, protection magic, psychic gifts. Once you have those down, you're good. So, also read books about it. I'm not the only source here. I'm not the only educational source. So, read books, watch videos, go to your local witch shop and start asking questions if you got one. I know that sometimes that they're sparse, but if you got one, go ask questions. Just really the first step in all of this is to collect knowledge. Collect knowledge. That's going to be your first, second, third, step that is never going to end. Okay? If you are a witch, that is never going to end. You're going to constantly be trying to collect knowledge. You have to be self-serving with your education. It is not my job. It is not the girls down the street's job to educate you. There's plenty of books. Go to your local Barnes and Nobles if you really can't get to a witch shop. Go online, Amazon. There's going to be books that you don't vibe with, that you don't get, that you don't like, that you don't agree with. Read them anyways and try to decipher why you don't like them, why you disagree with them. Okay? Alright. Knowledge. Knowledge is power. Power is key. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. I actually really like that saying. I just tied like 6 different things together. Okay, sorry. I'm kind of proud of that one. I'm gonna put that on like a fucking pillow at some point. I'm gonna embroider that shit in, okay? Knowledge is power. Power is key. Absolute power corrupts absolutely. It's like 3 different sayings that I didn't come up with those 3 different sayings. I just happened to all together, alright? Sorry. Stupid things, man. Make me happy. It's the small things. Alright. So that's kind of what I want you to do, is work on those things first. Then, if you think a certain specific spirit is coming to you, you have to train yourself to notice symbols and signs without looking for symbols and signs. I know that's really hard. It's gonna take time. What can help is write down the symbol, the sign, where it came to you, how it came to you, what were you feeling, when it came, where were you, what was the weather. I know the weather is a weird one, but trust me. If you're seeing a crow out on a rainy day versus a sunny day, and then I want you to do a brief description of the sign and what was around it. How did it come to cross your face? Okay? So that's kind of what I want you to do when it comes to signs and symbols. If you know that you think a specific spirit is trying to get a hold of you, like, oh, the Morgan is trying to get a hold of me. Well, how do you know? Look for signs and symbols and write them down. Then I want you, after looking for a sign and symbol, to just, you wrote it all down, it's in your book, you're all good, get a journal, write it all down, and then I want you to go, that's interesting, and shrug it off. Completely forget about it. Keep your eyes open for the next one, completely forget about this one. And the reason why I want you to completely forget about the first one, when you're looking for the second one, or open to the second one, don't go out looking for it. It's not how it works. Is it tries to stop the bias. You don't want to go out looking for it. You just want to notice it when it happens. So if you're like, oh, there's a crow. Wonders where's the next crow. And you go out for a nature walk in a crow reservation. I don't know. Then you're like, oh, I saw a crow at a crow reservation. Well, you fucking went there. But write it down. Because then, later on, you can kind of go through and go, oh, I was looking for that one. I was looking for that one. And you can see if there's a pattern that's just super weird, or if you can see that you were kind of looking for them. Do not go by the algorithms, okay? I know there's the theory that your phone listens to you when you speak. I understand that. That's not necessary. I don't know if that's proven or not. But if you even look up the word the Morgan, and then put your phone down, and then the next day you pick your phone up to watch YouTube, you've Google searched the Morgan. Seriously, you've Google searched the Morgan. So you're going to start seeing it on your feed. Because they're like, hey, you Google search this, you must be interested in it. So in which case, we're going to show you videos about it. So it's the algorithm at work. It's not the divine at work. Don't go buy your phones. Don't go buy YouTube. Don't do that. Even if you were looking up Athena and then the Morgan pops up, don't go by that, because they're going to just give you gods. It's not something divine. Don't go by the algorithm. I really hate that. I don't like it when people try to go by the algorithm. It's an algorithm for meaning. It's manipulating the constructs of your phone to give you views of things that you may or may not be interested in. So therefore, it's correlating things constantly. That's what the algorithm does. It's not a sign, alright? Don't count the algorithm, alright? So, with that, don't create signs. And when I say create signs, what do I mean by create signs? So you're like, I want to work with the Morgan. I'm going to go to a Morgan class. And if I see a Morgan statue at a Morgan class, that will be the sign. No. They may actually have a, like, that's just, you get my point, just no. So what I like to do when I'm trying to ask for a certain sign from a spirit, because you can totally ask for signs for spirits. That is more than acceptable. More than acceptable. Alright? More than acceptable. A lot of the times they actually correlate with the spirit. Okay? Okay. You're going to sit there. You're going to center yourself if you can. Go watch videos. Again, you're doing that research. So you're going to go watch videos on how to center, how to open your chakras, how to meditate. So you're going to learn how to meditate. Open those chakras, learn how to meditate. And then you're pretty much going to ask, hey, give me something that will make me see a sign. And then something's going to pop in your head. Tell me what the sign is that I'm going to see. And something is going to pop in your head. I know that with Azazel, I saw sheep. And, well, actually, I saw a goat. And I was like, and then I went, no, sheep. Then I went, no, a black sheep. Oddly enough. And I know I say don't do the whole, like, online thing because of the algorithm. This was not a video anything to do with Azazel, anything to do with the algorithm. It's literally one goat comes in, says ba, pretends to be a sheep. Little white goat comes in, says ba, pretends to be a sheep. Two little white sheeps come in, basically F the goat, and then you see a little black sheep comes up. So I was like, out of the screen, it was like literally like the funniest fucking thing ever. And I'm like, what the fuck? Okay. And it had nothing to do with Azazel, it had nothing to do with the algorithm. It was the most randomest video ever. So you can see signs online. And there was a couple other things that happened after that had nothing to do with online. But if you do get a sign online, I like to ask for a second sign. Alright, I acknowledge that. That was online, though. Can you give me a sign that is not online? With the Morgan, I asked for, like, literally, I'm sitting there and I'm like, okay. Alright, you're going to show me 3 different words. You're going to show me the words death, which is a common-ish word in mine. You're going to show me, what was the word? I have to look in my book, but it had to do, providence. It wasn't providence, it was something. And then you're going to show me chaos. Now, my husband does have a habit of saying, chaos and mayhem, wahaha. That doesn't count. Anything that would come up normally does not count. And I made that very, 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 very clear. And I saw each sign twice. And I said, show me them throughout a week. You don't have to show me once. She showed me each one twice throughout that week. And I'm like, okay. So I got the word death twice, which, like I said, death is kind of common because people are weird. But it was in very odd situations that people randomly brought it up to me, and I'm like, what did you just say? And they're like, death. And it wasn't dead, dying. It had to be the word death. These words were very specific. Sovereignty. Sovereignty was the second word. Sorry, I knew I had to do something. So you had death, sovereignty, chaos. If you guys know the Morgan, those three words were very specific for those reasons. But those are the three words I want to see. I saw at least each word twice. Some of them I saw more than twice. But they had to be the specific word, and it had to be out of context from my day-to-day life. That was the thing. And I got them. So, it's absolutely fine to ask spirits to give you signs. Now, I'm going to actually work on my book while making this because it keeps my hands moving and I'm feeling kind of antsy. That's why I'm swaying a lot. It's just who I am. So if I'm looking down, it's because I'm drawing. I will look up. Alright? So, the next thing. Now, if you think somebody specific is calling you, the thing that you can do is research their story. I know that seems like common sense, but read books on the god or goddess that you're interested in. You will always find new things, even if you think you know their story. I would still encourage you to look it up because you want to study their story and all the different aspects about it. Not just assume you know everything. Because assuming is where you get issues. And if something is hard, it just makes it that much more worth it to me. So I would definitely say read up on their stories. That's a good thing. If it's a non-goddess god folkloric kind of being, if it's like you think your great-grandma is coming to get you, ask your relatives to tell you stories about your great-grandma. Ask your relatives to talk about her. Maybe look up pictures about her. Learn about her life as much as you can. Maybe go and sit by her grave. Okay? It's a great way to kind of learn and create a relationship with that spirit. Now, I truly believe this, and I will say this again and again and again and again and again and again. I do not bow to spirits, any spirits. Yahweh, don't bow to him. Devil, don't bow to him. Morgan, don't bow to her. Zeus, don't bow to him. Spirit, like me and spirit are on even playing fields. It is a, what's the word when it's an even relationship? It is a give and take relationship. You have to give to the spirit. This could be in the form of offerings. This could be in the form of energy. This could be in the form of spreading their word because they like that. This could be in the form of philanthropy. But you give to them. And then they give to you back. You are having a... What's the word when it's... Put it in the comments if you know what word. It's like compatible. Not compatible, but put it in the words if you know what word I'm trying to... In the comments if you know what word I'm trying to come up with. Because I'm just having a brain fart, apparently. So... that is kind of what you want to do. Giving offerings to a spirit is just like giving offerings to your friend. Like if your friend takes you out to eat, you might offer to take them out the next time. Offer to take them out the next time. So you're going to give them an offering of substance for the return of substance. Okay? It's not about having someone be overpowered by another being. It's just not. And I think anybody who is considerably thinking they are above or below spirit is slightly misled, for I believe we have spirit or source in us. And if we have source in us, then how can we be below or above other source? If we are a spirit in a body, then how can we be below or above other spirit? It's about respect, not about lowering either or, okay? You're building a relationship. Now, your best key to being communicative with spirit, to talking to spirit, anything of that nature, is going to be meditation. I know meditation sucks sometimes. I'm actually very bad at meditation most of the time. Not gonna lie. It's very hard for me. The only suggestions I have for you is guided meditations on YouTube. Awesome. Because then at least you gain the stimulation. Learn different forms of meditation. It's not just sitting in a quiet room being quiet. Dancing could be your meditation. Walking in the woods could be your meditation. Anything that gets you in that Zen zone is a form of meditation. Yoga could be a form of meditation. So try different things. But getting in that Zen zone is what counts, okay? It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. I can't make it easy for you. I can give you suggestions. I wish somebody would have told me, suck it up and do it, when I was younger. I really wish someone would have said, hey, you can't get away with it. You can't really get around it. It sucks. Do it. There are different ways to do it, but do it. And I wish somebody would have said that, because they were like, you should meditate. You should meditate. I don't know how you're going to be a witch without meditation, but maybe. I haven't found a way yet. I don't like sitting in a quiet room. I can't, it's very rare that I sit in a quiet room. Guided meditations work for me. Dancing works for me. Walks don't work for me, but they work for my husband. Sometimes people literally just sit here and scribble. Scribble, 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 scribble. Sometimes people shut their eyes and draw with their eyes closed. There are different ways to meditate. It's just about getting your body in a Zen zone. What works for you may not work for somebody else. What works for somebody else may not work for you. Okay? And if it's not getting you the results, you have two choices. Keep trying, or try something else. Okay? That's it. Keep trying, try something else. You can keep trying this and take some time to try something else too. That is okay. But those are kind of your two choices. You can do them simpatico relationships. Wow. That's what I was trying to. But you can do them simultaneously. Not literally at the same time, but like throughout your path. Simultaneously throughout your path. But you just got to figure out what works for you. It's try, fail, try, fail. It's gonna suck. Because you are so eager and so wanting and so hopeful that it's like when I stopped caring and stopped giving a fuck, and I was like, this is what I'm gonna do. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. If it works, it works. Awesome. But that's when I started to work. So for new brums, we tend to be eager and want to do all the things. Not giving a fuck is probably the best advice I got for you. You're like, I'm gonna work on my issue. with or without you, if you help me, that would be fucking tits. If you want to talk to me, that would be awesome. But I'm working this path whether I can reach the spirit or not. That's what helped me the most. Because I was so anxious, I couldn't zen. I was so excited, I couldn't zen. I was so desired. Not me desired, but I wanted it so much that I couldn't zen. Because it ran in my family, and I wanted to be like my Nana. I wanted to go against my other side of the family. Not go against them, but like, they always talk, they're very Christian. They've always talked about God and Jesus and angels, and I was like, go against is the wrong word. I wanted to know, not just read. If that makes any sense. I was brought up a certain way that these all the things, and I was like, okay, well, how do I get to all the things? Then I started researching and moving and touching into witchcraft, and that's kind of how my journey began. It wasn't to go against my family. It was really to try to understand them and be a part of it, but in a way that I could, because I couldn't work off of faith. I knew there was something more. I could feel it. I could smell it. I could see it. I could taste it. So if you read the psychic, if you watch the psychic gifts videos, you'll giggle at that too, because I do not have a smell or taste abilities at all. It's just to put out that I wanted it that bad that I couldn't relax because I was working myself up too much. So you really have to sit back and figure out what works for you, and just I know a lot of witches who get kind of the hit in the face when they hit rock bottom. That may work for you. That is awesome. I haven't hit rock bottom, so therefore I haven't had that wake-up call. I mean, I've heard of a lot of people going, oh my god, my life was this, my life was that, and I didn't know what to do, and I just called out, and then it happened. I'm not like that. I haven't needed to cry out. I actually do very little spell work because I don't feel the need to ask for things. I will be doing more spell work when I start trying for a kid later on in my life. I will be doing more spell work for safety for the child. I will be teaching my child to craft, but I'm kind of content in my life a little bit, so I don't do that much spell work. Here's what it is. So, that's one way to work with spirit. Try to understand the different gifts, because that's probably how you're going to hear, see, smell, know spirit is around. I know that gets a little complicated, but it is. I have this weird, just like, I'll be stuck on something. So, I've just barely started working with Morgan. I don't want to give too much away or guarantee anything, because this is very new to me with the Morgan. I'm an Azazel girl myself, so I'm kind of concerned. She is a very, I want to say, strong goddess, so I've heard a lot of things about her. I think I know what she's around and why she's around me right now, I think. But, like, in the past, I've heard her name, and I've heard other witches talk about her, and I'm like, okay, that's cool, that's what you work with, and I never even thought twice about it. And then all of a sudden, I'm sitting there, and I get the name the Morgan in my head. And I can't get her out of my head. Every time I think about witchcraft, the Morgan comes into my head. Hey, Morgan. The Morgan. The Morgan. And to the point where I don't even know what to do with it, because it is just, it's there. And everything I do, it's almost consumed by the name slightly, like it's always in the back of my head. So that's kind of how I knew to start researching her. I'm trying to research her the best, and I knew to ask for signs. If you are a clairvoyant, you might see the spirit and then you slowly start to reach. If you're clairaudient, you might hear something like a name, either in your head or maybe like even like it's almost like someone's whispering in your ear without whispering in your ear. It's really weird. You might hear a name. This was just kind of a knowing, if that makes any sense. I think that's clairsentient is a knowing, but I'm not. I would have to look at my notes again, because I always forget the different Claire titles. So again, go watch that movie. That video. You know what I'm trying to say here, people. I'm not the best at communicating, but I'm trying to get points across. As long as you know what I'm talking about, I am communicating efficiently. Alright? So, go watch those videos, because that's how spirit is going to reach to touch you or get a hold of you directly. Now, there's indirect ways to talk to spirits. So, there's several different indirect ways to talk to spirits. I call them indirect because they are not going straight from spirit to you. They are using some sort of tool to talk to spirits. So, the ones that are the most common are pendulums. We see them everywhere. We also see Ouija boards everywhere. They're kind of, I wouldn't say self-describable on how to use them, but there's a million videos out there on how to use a pendulum, and there's a million videos out there on how to use a Ouija board. Please do not go by the horror movies. We don't do fear-mongering here. So, Ouija boards are not evil. They are merely a tool on how to use them. That's it. How to connect to spirit. It's merely a tool. It's a very direct tool in an indirect way to contact spirits. It is probably the most straightforward way of using a tool. They're going to give you the most answers because they spell it out. Literally, it spells it out for you. Ouija boards are actually not welcome in my house because it's not because of fear-mongering. My husband had a very bad interaction with a Ouija board, and now he does not appreciate them in the house. I am technically welcome to use them as long as it's not in the protected house and he's not there. But he's just very cautious of Ouija boards because they are so directly attached to spirit and they give direct answers. Now, it happened before I was around. He's just we respect our partner's boundaries with these tools, okay? If you have a partner, if you have family members, if you have friends in your house who are scared of these tools, we respect boundaries. Bringing a tool in that's going to cause negative energy into your house is not going to really help you in the way you want it to. Positive witches bring in positive energy to do positive things. Even if we're gray, we try to work in our positives more than in our negatives. We want positivity. And you're only gonna, for instance, balanced witches do balanced magic. If your house is a nuclear warfare because you brought in a tool, it doesn't seem balanced to me. Okay? So I don't know how to describe this enough. You need to respect your partner's boundaries. And he needs to respect, or she needs to respect, your boundaries. Now, if you really, 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 really want to do witchcraft, and they really are against it, maybe they're not the right partner for you. Sorry to say it, but it is the way it is, okay? So, next tool to contact spirits. So you got your Ouija boards, you got your pendulums. You got scriptive writing. So that's where you can blank out and you literally just write things or draw things. Like I said, some people scribble. Some people can do that. It's a very hard thing. I don't necessarily do it myself. I know that I've seen somebody do it, like literally, and they had to read it back to themselves. They didn't know what they wrote. So I've seen that happen. that was cool to watch. That was their gift. Okay? But a book and paper can be a gift. It can be a tool and a gift. The thing that I like using for other people, and when I have questions directly that I don't really, I'm just trying to like life stupid stuff. I don't want to say stupid stuff, but it's not my shadow work. It's more like just question aspects. Is I do my tarot cards. You can do oracle or tarot cards. A lot of witches use these. I love tarot cards. These are my babies. This deck is my deck. I love this deck. This is the Shadowland Tarot. I would have to get the book and read who it's by, but it's the Shadowland Tarot. This is my deck. I love this deck. This deck is going to actually, I think, probably be mine until it wears out, and then I'm going to have to retire it and bury it, and then get another one eventually. But, like, I will work with this deck for probably the rest of my life. I love this deck. It gives such great answers. It's bound to me. I keep it in my box. I keep a clear quartz crystal to cleanse the tarot. But I don't always keep the clear quartz crystal in the box. A lot of the time I do, but I kind of, sometimes I'm trying to work with multiple questions, so I don't always wipe the energy. The other thing you can do is oracle decks. So the tarot is a, like, set deck. Cards have certain meanings that is already pre-laid out by the creator of the original creators of the tarot. Like, the Ace of Cups is always going to be a new adventure with emotions. So on and so forth. The Lovers is always going to be what the Lovers means. Doesn't matter what tarot you use, that is the meaning of that card. With Oracle, and these are White's Stags Lowbrow Oracle. I got them off of Etsy, and you can get them off her website. I'm not trying to promote it, but White Stag. And again, these decks I bought with my money. I've had them for years. I'm just giving you information about them. But Oracle decks have no set standard. They usually come with a little box. This one comes with a little flip. Sometimes they give you full pages of what each card means. And sometimes they give you little blurbs of what each card means. Oracle decks, you really want to use your intuition of what the story is trying to say. I love this deck. It just speaks to me. The edges are kind of, you can see that the edges are kind of wearing, because I use this deck so much, and it's just beautiful. Honestly, I do the tarot, and then if I need clarifications, I'll pull one of these cards, because then it just comes to me. It's a little more to the aspects. If I have like an extra question that needs just a little clarification, I'll use an oracle card. That's how I do. So I kind of put these two together. That's why they're just sitting straight on my desk. They're not going nowhere. They are mine. They sit on my desk. Okay? Actually, I will be doing something in my town where I am reading for people for donations for our Humane Society and contacting Spirit and asking for help. And these are the tools I will be using. So, you can use tools to contact Spirit. That is fine if that's what you do. I love to use more than one tool. Maybe not at the exact same time, but there's also scrying mirrors. There's mirrors, scrying mirrors. There is candle scrying. There is, I guess the Christians would use prayer, manifestation. It's kind of all the fucking same thing. You can sing to your spirits and see if a certain word in a song pops out to you. I've done that before, where certain words pop out to me. I'm like, I just know. So, it kind of, you can do so much. You can do so much to contact spirits. There are so many different tools, so many different scrying things. Spirit is all around us. Just feeling energy is a thing, too. it really, it sucks that it's kind of like a trial and error to what works for you. And I get it's hard, and these videos aren't really helping because you're kind of like, what do I start with? I would start with, just so you're aware, watch those 2 videos. Try to start finding your way to meditate. What works for you to get you all in that Zen kind of atmosphere. Research who or what or where or when you're trying to connect with. And then try the different, after, because you only watch the video, try the different gifts. When you're connecting with spirit, amongst those 4 things, the things you can ask for is signs. Totally ask for signs. It's perfectly fine. And you can ask for clarifications from spirit. Okay? It is just a form of being mindful in connection. So if you want to talk to them in your dreams, try starting out with different ritual bed routines. Shut off the TV, journal, go to bed, have scented sprays for your bed, light incense, whatever it takes. Now, don't get stuck on one thing. If it doesn't work, give it like a month or 2 of trying. If it doesn't work, maybe you try something else. Don't get stuck. So that's kind of where you want to start with all those, that was just my quick little summary of this video, okay? I know it's going to stink. I know it's going to get frustrating. It is what it is. But trust me, it is so worth it. Now, if you liked this video, like, follow, subscribe, because I'm supposed to say that. And, most of all, go do magic. Bye, guys.